I met my father, the last time I actually saw him was when I was in first grade. He got locked up and sent to prison. And so the last time I actually met him physically was 2017 when I was 20 years old. I was in prison and he was in prison. So we go outside of the building and like walk on the track. So now he just randomly come out the blue like, son, I want to talk to you. So we sat down on the steps and I'm like, what's up? He was like, are you mad at me? I'm like, mad at you for what? And he was like, for me being going out your life all these years. And I honestly told him, like, to be honest with you, I never had no heartfelt, you know what I'm saying, negative intentions towards you whatsoever because, like I said, I understood the situation and people make mistakes. So, and I told him, like, man, my love for you is still unconditional. You still my father at the end of the day, and you made a mistake. But at least that we're here now, you feel me? We can still be face to face and you not dead and I'm not dead, you feel me? We can still build our relationship and our bond together as father and son. So he cried, you feel me?
Hi, you what? It's your girl Connie, and you are back watching another episode of A Free Mind, where we take back the control of our minds and our reality. To all my free minders, thank you for being here. And if you are new, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you'll be ready to tap in when it's time to tap in. Today, I have a wonderful guest with me. He is a business owner, artist, public speaker, youth administrator, and father. This man demonstrates perfectly what it means to have depth beyond his appearance and a great example for never judge a book by the cover. Please welcome Shakoor. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You doing good? That is good. First, I want you to go ahead and just tell the people who you are and, just give them a little rundown.
Well, I'm gonna give y'all something slight. My name is Shakoor. I am a father. I'm a youth administrator for mental awareness, gun violence, and trauma. I'm an artist as well. I make music videos, etc. I got my own landscaping business. I'm a diesel mechanic. I fix on box trucks, semis, and trailers. I'm a well-educated individual. You know what I mean? I've been through a lot of situations, but I done overcame every obstacle possibly that I can ever overcome to be more self-disciplined, dedicated, determined, and more prosperous.
Okay, look at you. You out here doing it big. Don't play with them. Okay, so my first question that I have for you is I want to know, like, do you truly feel like you have a free mind, and what does having a free mind mean to you?
I feel like that it really just depends on certain individuals. Me specifically, I feel like I have a free mind, and a free mind to me is understanding that you're going to go through trials and tribulations throughout your life, and you got to be able to be strong to make it through any and everything that comes your way. You know what I'm saying? You got to be more elevated and have the intellectual and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to pull yourself back up and keep moving forward up that ladder.
I agree. I feel like it's definitely all of what you said. Now, I wanted to talk about, like, because we've known each other for a while, whatever, and I know some things about your like family dynamic, and I pretty much just wanted to like talk about our stories in a way. Okay, so how about this? I'll start with giving a little background of me, right?
Okay.
So like my family background, I've grown up a middle child. And I feel like being a middle child, sometimes you get neglected and you don't get seen and you don't really have a voice in situations. And, having, little traumas and things like that here and there or whatever. I feel like everybody goes through that. But it definitely, I can say it definitely has affected my mind and how I control my mind. And it's controlled me in ways of becoming an adult. I would accept certain things that you probably shouldn't accept, or do certain things you shouldn't do. And I don't know, I just feel like as a child at a certain age, it's like very vital to be conscious of what you're like giving to your children and like instilling in them, because like all we do is like soak up things like a sponge or whatever. But I got into a space, let me try to fast forward here, talking too much. I got into a space though where I did not like my family like at all, like because of all the things that they've done or whatever. And it's not like nothing like too crazy, but I just did not like them for a minute. And so that made me have like some sort of like, I don't know, I don't want to say hatred, but like something like that for them in a way. Not all of them, but like some of them.
Right.
And I'm like, how for you growing up, how was your family dynamic and how did it like kind of affect you, I guess?
I would say my family dynamic was very loving and caring. Even though I didn't have my father around, my mama had raised 5 boys on her own with me being the youngest, so it was kind of hard for her as well. So, her going to work constantly every single day, not really got time to be there for us because she got to work and pay the bills, you know what I'm saying? So, but my family-wise, we was more so unified until it just a lot of, natural things just occurred with family members being family members to where it got separate. It ain't no more family reunions, ain't no more family gatherings and things like that. So it just basically like everybody just separated and went their own ways in a way. You feel me? But overall, I feel like that my family dynamic, it just was when you got kids, the mother and the father needs to be present because that can affect a lot of things with a family in general and whole as well. You know what I'm saying? Not only just your own personal household, but in general. Because kids need a masculine individual. They need their father and they need a feminine individual as well, their mother. You feel me? Because the mother and the father can do different things that each one of them can't. Can't no woman raise no man. You know what I'm saying? You need a man to raise a man. Can't no man raise no woman. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that it was okay at some point, but I had a point in my life to where the things that I went through in my childhood, it affected me for who I am today. You know what I'm saying? But I had hatred as well towards individuals because I felt like that they wasn't there for me how I needed them to be for the situations that occurred in my life for them to happen how they did.
Like when you got older, you was like, you started to see some stuff where you was like.
Exactly. Exactly. You feel me? So, I pushed it to the side when that's really can be a major problem because if you push certain things to the side, you know what I'm saying, with consequences that goes on in your life and you really don't speak about it or you don't feel comfortable enough to be able to speak to someone about it, it can affect you mentally, emotionally, socially, logically, and physically. So, and it did that to me.
Yeah. I have a question real quick. When you were younger, were you like allowed to like cry when you felt the need to cry or like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I was. And that's what's messed up now inside our world and our society because you got some male individuals as far as in fathers and your uncles. If a boy cry when you're young, they always be like, well, suck it up. You know what I'm saying? But you can't really be like that. You got to be more so on an emotional aspect and be like, you know what, it's okay to cry because it actually is a cleansing method for your body. You feel me? You can release all your emotions and all your actions that you done went through. You feel me? With you crying is just washing it all away to make you feel more comfortable and secure with yourself and your situation. So,
but go ahead. I did interrupt you and ask that question, but you were saying about how you did have sort of like a hatred a little bit for some individuals, but then you, as you got older, you kind of noticed it.
right.
And then like once you noticed it or you noticed that and you had the hatred for them, what did you end up like doing like with that?
Honestly, I didn't know what to do at the time. I was young. So I just went on day by day.
So how old?
Probably till I was like 13.
13?
Yeah.
So you realized it when you was 13?
Yeah.
It took me a minute. I was like 18, 19. It took me a minute.
I was what's the word for it? I was mature for my age at a young age. I grew up fast, so I could be to see the ins and out of things, you know what I'm saying, and notice certain discrepancies between individuals, you know what I'm saying, and be able to single each thing out, you know what I'm saying, with people. I was just real good with socializing and basically psychology, studying body language and things that people say, eye contact and things like that at a young age, so it was easy for me.
Man. So like, okay, with my family, I had ended up meeting some of my father's side like when I was like 18, 19. And at this time with my mother's side, I wasn't really feeling them like that. Like I just, I'm 18, 19 now. I see who was the messed up one. And so I was hanging out with some people on my father's side that I didn't even know was my family. So we were just all hanging out as friends. And I I was really excited when I found out we was family. I'm like, oh, this is great because I really don't like my mama's side right now. So like now I got family on the other side I can hang out with, I could be cool with. But then I ended up seeing the same thing in them that I seen like in my mother's side, and it really hurt my feelings because I felt like we don't even know each other. You know what I mean? This is like a great time for us to get to know each other, and they just treated me like horrible once they found out that I was like family. And it just like made what I was already going through on my mother's side worsen. And so I just had a lot of stuff going on in my insides. And I was just feeling like, you know what, one day I'm gonna get rich and I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I'm gonna show y'all up. You know what I'm saying? And with doing that, with having that perspective of like, I'm only gonna get rich to like, I don't wanna cuss, but S on y'all. You know what I'm saying? It for some people, I feel like it is enough fuel, but it wasn't enough fuel for me to really like put into what I really want to do to like become successful. And it took for me to kind of forgive them, both sides, and then just let it go, and then be able to really get into what I want to get to. And I feel like how that affected my mind is that it just allowed me to walk around with that type of like hatred and stuff like that for people, or not wanting to get close to people or form relationships, because I felt like family, they you know what I'm saying? So why would a stranger, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
I feel you.
It's crazy. So like, okay, so I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm gonna say it, right? Mm-hmm. So your relationship with your dad, let's just talk about that for a minute.
It's tough. I'm gonna say that. I actually didn't meet my father. I met my father the last time I actually saw him was when I was in first grade. He got locked up and sent to prison. And so the last time I actually met him physically was 2017 when I was 20 years old. Mm-hmm. I was in prison and he was in prison. Mm-hmm. Just coincidentally, he did 20 years. They just happened to send him to the same prison that I was at, just coincidentally out the blue. Mm-hmm. So that was my first time.
Do you think they knew that you guys were like related? Do you think they knew that, or it was just like just happened?
It just happened. So with the prison system is that you got different levels, you know what I'm saying, as far as in points that you could get, as far as in your background and the charges that you caught, and how high level and how serious your crime was. Mm-hmm. So once you do a specific amount of time with you being on good terms, you feel me, you know, following educational reasons and doing time cuts and staying out the way without catching the write-ups, your level go down to where you could go to a lower facility, which means they got, I think the highest facility is a level 5. That's where like people got life fed. You know what I'm saying? They ain't, you know what I mean? So me, I was inside a level 2 facility, and my dad had leveled down because the lower time that you got it drops your level as well. Mm-hmm. So just randomly, my uncle and a few of my other family members was down there with me as well. And I remember me waking up one day and I'm going to breakfast, and my uncle was like, man, your daddy down here. So I'm like, my daddy down here? He's like, yeah, man, your daddy down here. We gonna meet up tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, at breakfast, you feel me, at this time. So we all meet up. The dorm that my father was in, he had came through the cafeteria, and we locked eyes instantly. Now, I had a bond with my father through phone calls, pictures, and mail throughout my whole life, though. Mm-hmm. But as far as in physically, I didn't meet him until I was 20 years old. That's in so prison crazy. In 2017. So he had seen me. I seen him. Obviously, I knew who he was, and vice versa. He gave me a hug, you know what I'm saying? And we just sitting there looking at each other like, dang, wow. This is my son. This is my daddy. You know what I'm saying? We just looking at each other. So it was kind of awkward, but it was more so like a happy feeling as well. Like, okay, even though we inside of this situation and it's not the best situation, at least to say that we could say that we're still here now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we could still overcome them obstacles that we done went through without you being here in my life. Mm-hmm. And I never actually had a negative input on him because he wasn't inside of my life like the average boy would. You know what I'm saying? To have hatred towards him and be like, oh, you was going in my life. I never had that intention because I was so mature for my age to understand and realize that people make mistakes. Yeah. And just so happened, you know, after I seen him that day, they ended up moving him inside the dorm that I was in. I think I was in 16 South and he was in 15 South. So both of our dorms interact with everything. So we're going to rec together, breakfast, lunch, dinner, et cetera, et cetera. So we went to the rec and we was playing basketball. I beat him in 21. He was so mad. I played him in 21. You feel me? He was basically trying to feel me out. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never had no bond. So I beat him in 21, skunked him out. He only had like 2 points. I blew him out.
Oh, dang.
He
Poor
was
Pops.
mad, but but we started working out together, you feel me, and just conversing with each other. So we go outside of the building and like walk on the track. So now he just randomly come out the blue like, son, I want to talk to you. So we sat down on the steps and I'm like, what's up? He was like, are you mad at me? I'm like, mad at you for what? And he was like, for me being going out your life all these years. And I honestly told him, like, to be honest with you, I never had no heartfelt, you know what I'm saying, negative intentions towards you whatsoever because, like I said, I understood the situation and people make mistakes. So, and I told him, like, man, my love for you is still unconditional. You still my father at the end of the day, and you made a mistake. But at least that we're here now, you feel me, we can still be face to face and you not dead and I'm not dead, you feel me, we can still build our relationship and our bond together as father and son. So he cried, you feel me, he cried, it was like, man, you so real, son, you feel me, and gave me a hug. Now, he ended up getting out of prison a couple weeks after that. I still had like a year left to do. So I ended up getting out. I got out April 30th of 2018, and him and my mother had came and picked me up. So that was my first time ever seeing my mom and daddy together in my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So I was happy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had the little Kool-Aid smile on. So it was a wonderful feeling, man. And we had spent probably 18 months together. I ended up getting sent back to prison. So the last time I saw my daddy again was October 3rd of 2019 to be exact. I had a warrant, you know what I'm saying? I was on the run from parole. You feel me? He had a warrant for driving without a license. And we got pulled over. We got locked up with his case being petty and it was a traffic stop. They released him out of the processing center, so he didn't even get locked up. They let him out. Right. I knew I was going back to prison. So they sent me back to prison. I gave my daddy a hug again. I didn't get out until Christmas of 2020, a year later. My daddy got killed September 6th of 2020, 3 months before I came home. He got hit with a stray bullet, you know what I'm saying? And it just made me feel some type of way because the simple fact I had just met him and only spent 18 months with him. And mind you, the 18 months that we spent together, we was with each other every day like brothers and best friends every day. You feel me? We had people hating that was in our family, which is the crazy part. People did not like that at all in our family, that we had that bond. It's like they didn't want us to have no bond. So people was making anonymous calls saying that we doing this and doing that, trying to get us locked up. You feel me? Getting me violated and him violated. So it was kind of weird, and we didn't know who it was through our family. So it was crazy, but we didn't let that break us. We still, you know what I'm saying, did what we did. We had our relationship and was with each other every day like brothers and sisters. And I'm bigger than my daddy. So every time we was out in public, people would be like, he'd tell them that I'm his son, but they'd be like, well, he looked like the daddy and you look like the son. So it was wild, man. So he'd start telling people like, yeah, this the daddy, I'm the son. But yeah, my father ended up getting killed though September 6th when I was in prison. The whole time I was in there, you know, he looked out for me, sent me money for commissary, phone calls every single day consistently. He was going to go check up on my daughter for me, you know what I mean? Things like that in that nature.
Yeah.
And just one day I had a dream. It was probably like 3 a.m. I had a dream, and the dream was, you know, some dreams that you have don't be pertaining to you. It could be pertaining to other individuals. It's just giving you a sign.
Yeah.
So the dream was my daughter's mother was in the dream. She had pulled up with her friend in the car, and I didn't see my daughter. I didn't meet my daughter since she was 13 months old. So in between the time I got locked up October 3rd, my daughter was born November 1st. So I didn't get to, you know what I mean, experience that, and I was gone for that time. But yeah, the dream was my daughter's mother was in the car with her friend. She had got out the car, and it was supposed to be my first time meeting my child. You feel me? And she had walked off. She had took my daughter out the car, and my daughter was inside the car seat, and she had laid the car seat with my daughter in the middle of the street. You feel me?
Crazy dream.
Man, it was crazy. I would never forget it. So her friend, as my baby mama was walking off, her friend was like, come here. I'm like, what's up? I'm thinking her friend trying to talk to me, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be, you know what I mean? But she's like, I'm not on that type of time, you feel me? I'm just trying to be honest with you. Your baby mama, you know what I mean, on some BS, you feel me? And you just need to watch her, take my number. So I'm like, okay, I took her number. So it's like in the dream, these stairs appear in the dream to where my baby mama, she goes up the stairs and she jumps off and kill herself.
Oh my gosh.
So I grabbed my daughter out the car seat, you feel me, and walked over there to her. I'm crying, you know what I'm saying? So I'm crying in the dream. I walk over to the tour, and it's just helly blood coming out her head, you feel me? And I pick her up trying to hold her, you know what I'm saying? I'm crying. Then it's like her face just go blurry in a dream. You feel me? Then I wake up. Mind you, I'm in prison, so I'm in cold sweat, you feel me? I'm crying, tears in my eyes. I'm like, man, that dream seems so real. But I didn't understand it. I'm like, this is telling me something. I didn't know what it was, though. So later on that day, probably like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, do my normal routine. You feel me? I wake up, brush my teeth, get in the shower, you feel me? I get on the phone, too, as well. So I call my mother, and, you know, I asked her how she doing and this and that, but just the energy through the phone didn't seem right. It was off to me. And the first thing she said to me was, son, I got some information to tell you, but I want you to do what you need to do to where you still come home, you feel me, don't get in no trouble. So I'm like, okay, why is she saying this? And I'm like, what's wrong? So in my heart, you know what I'm saying, I feel it. In my gut, I'm like,
you just had this dream.
You feel me? So I'm like, man, something ain't right. And then, like, it was a lot of people over there that don't normally be over there, you feel me? And it's just quiet. So I'm like, man, something ain't right. So I'm like, what's going on? So I get quiet on the phone, and she just randomly come out the blue. Long story short, she like, your father got killed last night. So I'm like, what? I couldn't believe it. So I'm like, why are you playing with me? You feel me? I'm like, why are you playing with me? But in my head, it's dawning on me like, okay, she ain't gonna lie to me about this, but I'm still trying to like find something to cope with, you know what I'm saying, to not believe it. So I'm like, you playing. So I end up skipping over the question, what she said, you feel me, and asked her something else, you feel me, that didn't even pertain to that. But she ended up saying it, and I thought about it. It's like, yeah, yo, daddy got killed last night at 2 a.m, you feel me? And I'm like, dang. So, you know, I burst into tears. I couldn't really express myself. I was kind of numb at the moment until it actually dawned on me. And then, like, a lot of my family members started hitting me up when I was in there, texting me and sending me text messages and letters that I ain't even talked to the whole time I was in prison. So it was kind of weird to me. I'm like, okay, this ain't normal. They ain't been hitting me up. You feel me? And they hit me up randomly, just sending messages like, well, we gonna pray for you. We hope you stay out the way. You feel me? We love you. So I'm just like, man, this can't be true. So once it dawned on me and I knew for sure that my dad did get killed, you feel me? And it messed me up even more because 2 weeks prior to his death, he had texted me and told me, he's like, son, I've been doing good, doing everything I'm supposed to. I just started a landscaping business, a mobile power wash business. I got you a car, and he got me a truck, and he moved into a house. So he was doing good just for me because he missed all the time out of my life. You feel me? So everything he did was for me. You feel me? And he was like, his last word on that text was, he was like, I love you, and I'm going to be out here waiting for you. You feel me? So that's what messed me up the most because it kept replaying in my head over and over again. So I'm like, dang. You feel me? And I kind of, not that I hated him, but it's like he was still there. And I'm like, why would you leave me like that, bro? You know what I'm saying?
So now it's like you having to reface him not being there again.
Yeah, so I'm like, I was cussing him out, you know what I'm saying, in my head. You feel me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? You feel me? Why would you leave me? You feel me? You supposed to be waiting on me like you said, and now I got to come home and you ain't there no more. You feel me? So it put me in a depressing stage to where I wasn't eating, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to get out of my bed. I didn't want to call nobody, etc. You feel me? The normal. So eventually I ain't gonna say I overcame it, but I had to because I couldn't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
You feel me? And what happened is that I was supposed to go to his funeral. So when you're in prison, when somebody die like that that's close to you, you feel me, as far as in your intermediate family members, you feel me, like your father, daddy, somebody like that, you are allowed to go to the funeral, but you would just go inside shackles.
Yep.
But you got to have certain stipulations. So when he got killed, it was still COVID going on, and the stipulations was that you couldn't have a certain amount of time. You couldn't have COVID. You couldn't have no escape charges, nothing like that. I met every aspect that I could that they said that I needed. You feel me? But the warden there at the prison, he was one of them, I would say, racist. I'm going to be honest with you. You feel me? And just for some reason, he said he not letting me go in. He don't care about my daddy getting killed. You feel me? He's not going to let me make it there. But he has said that he don't care about me meeting the stipulations, you feel me, that he asked me that I needed to, even though that I got accepted, but he wouldn't let me go at all. He said he didn't care about that. So it made me feel some type of way. It brought me down because I wanted to at least see my father one last time, even if he was in the casket or not. You feel me? So I didn't get to go, so that just depressed me even more. But what I did was I wrote my dad a poem, and on the day of my father's funeral, I had called my mother. I'm like, I'm gonna write him a poem, and then the day of his funeral, I want you to go up there and put me on the microphone so I could say his poem to him. You feel me? In front of everybody. So that's what I did. I wrote a poem, called my mother on the day of his funeral, and said my poem to him, you feel me, and congratulated everybody for coming there, you know what I'm saying, and thanking everybody for coming there for me, even though my situation I was in, I was more hurt because I wasn't there, and I just still couldn't, you know what I'm saying, think upon that he's really dead and I'm really doing this, that I have to do this. So it was still not dawning on me
It still wasn't like feeling.
It didn't feel
like
real.
it didn't feel real.
You feel me? So
I want to say though, because you said a lot, and I want to just, for one, thank you for even sharing all of that, because it's very personal, and I almost cried over here. For real.
It's okay.
But I really appreciate you for sharing that, because that's like really, really, really personal to you. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say that, to like go back to the beginning of your story, like you having that awareness and that like being mature, like I really feel like that was you having like control of your mind and having a free mind in that state. Because like you said, most people or children would be upset at their fathers and not be able to understand, but you being, you know, mature and older, you were able to do that. And so I think like that's like a perfect example. And I just wanted to say that, because yes, going through the 18 months being with him and spending that time with him, I feel like it was meant that y'all had that time together. You know what I'm saying? Like before the unfortunate situations. And I think that, I don't know, I feel like God be just working like in mysterious ways. So I feel like that was meant to be. But for you to have that mindset of, I'm not angry, and to then spend that time with him during those 18 months was like, that was tight. I like that.
It was.
I like that. But yeah, again, I just wanted to thank you for sharing that, because I didn't really know if I should like.
No, you good.
Tap into that or what.
I appreciate you too.
But I have I think I just have one more question really quick. So first, let me explain. So having a free mind, right? I believe that anything that you can't say no to has some sort of a control over you. If you can't say no to something, then that means it controls you. So like it could be anything. It could be food. It could be a certain belief. It could be anything, like anything. And so I feel like once you learn to have control over your mind and learn to control your mind, you have to start saying no a lot to certain things that you used to do or used to believe or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I had to do that myself. I'm wanting to know for you, what is something that you can't say no to recently, like in your most recent time? What's something that you have not been able to say no to, but you're going to say no to it after today? And think about it. Don't just be saying anything now.
Hold on. Say it one more time. Let's say it one more time.
Okay. So having a free mind, you have to understand that you have to say no to some things, because whatever you cannot say no to controls you. If I can't say no to eating some chicken, it controls me. You know what I mean?
True.
If I can't say no to anything, to how, you know, a specific way that I walk that I know is probably I shouldn't walk that way, or, you know, anything. Yeah. If you can't say no to, if you can't let it go, if you can't fast from it, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? What is something that you can't say no to that may be hard for you to say no to, but after today you're going to say no to it?
That's kind of a horror one.
I know. Because it could be anything, like anything. And what's so crazy about it is that it has, to really think about it and understand it, is like that thing truly has some sort of control over you, for you to not be able to say no. Like your flesh is taking control to the point that you're going to listen to the flesh and the satisfactions of now to indulge in whatever this thing is, or continue doing whatever this thing is. But having some sort of control of your mind and allowing your mind to control you, you have to say no to some things. So what you got?
That's kind of a hard one to think off back like that. It is. That's a challenging question.
It is.
But what I'm going to say is that I got full accountability of myself, you know what I'm saying? And it's not hard for me to say no because I got self-discipline. I know what I need to do and I know what I shouldn't do, you know what I'm saying? So if somebody try to, prime example, me not being in the streets and me doing everything I'm supposed to on a legal aspect now, you feel me, from when I used to do, you know what I'm saying, back in the day to old me, because I'm a new version of me today.
Right.
Can't nobody put me back in that situation or try to convince me to do something that I used to do no more because I got control of myself now. You know what I'm saying? I done utilized all my time wisely and occupied it to the fullest to sharpen my intellectual in every aspect. You know what I mean? So can't nobody control me.
So you would be saying no to like allowing someone outside of you to control you.
Right.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. That is a good one though, because it is a hard question, but when you really think about it, it's like now your homework is to go home and definitely think about that some more though, because that was a good answer. It was for sure, but for me, when I realized that, I'm like, dang. And if you think about it, it's like kind of like an egotistical thing. Where it's like, well, I don't want nothing controlling me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like what? Something that controls me if I'm doing this and I can't say no to it. So it's like, you should definitely go home and But that was a good one though. I like the not letting no one outside of you control you. Because that's the something that I believe in. I don't want to let nothing outside of me, but not letting someone outside of me as well. Also, like it correlates with someone and something controlling you. I'm gonna answer the question too, though. So
Okay.
I feel like for me, something that I'm gonna say no to is gonna be. This is a hard question. This is a hard question. What am I gonna say no to? I think I'm gonna say no to allowing my fears to not let me take the next step necessary, or not taking the risk that I need to take or the opportunity I need to take.
Okay.
Because I've definitely done that a lot where I'll be afraid to do something because it's outside of it's unknown. We were talking about that previously, but it being unknown is like, but what if it don't work? You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, I'm going to work on not allowing those fears to control my actions and how I deal with things coming to me that is an opportunity.
I understand that.
I should have. My phone. Sorry, y'all. I wasn't prepared. You got any questions for me?
Not that I can think of right now, honestly.
No. Because that was my last question, and I should have stated that was my last question before I said it. Because.
But what you just said, though, pertaining to what you asked me, your answer just gave me an idea as well about myself instead of other individuals in my space.
Okay, go ahead and tell me.
And it's short, so one thing I will say no to is me letting my emotions control me through certain situations and consequences.
That's a good one.
You feel me? So, like, for instance, if I know that this person is a narcissist, you know what I'm saying, and they trying to neglect me, you know what I'm saying, and mistreat me in a way, I know not to let my emotions control me to even feed into it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I know to just push it to the side.
But you know, with that, it's like when you know somebody is a narcissist like that, and you know that a lot of times people project. They project how they feel about themselves onto other people. If you ever notice, like, you might look at somebody and be like, man, I hate the way they do that. A lot of times it's because you don't like the fact that you do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with knowing that people projecting that they're narcissists and they're that way, it's like, and I think about this too all the time. I'm like, and I think about this too all the time where I'm like, I cannot allow this person to take my energy, because my energy is my life force energy. This is my energy that I need for myself. If I'm giving away my energy to you, then that means that you've literally won the situation and you've took control of me. And I'm like, hold on, like, no, like, that's not what we do here. Like, no, we do not let people control us or situations like that. So definitely emotional intelligence is like so important. So I really like that one because people definitely project. They just not right, and not everybody, but some people. And when you know that about people, it's a lot. It's a lot easier to be in a situation and be like, well, you know what? I'm gonna let you act how you act, and I'm gonna go ahead and just. And sometimes being like that, like being like somewhat nonchalant in a way when people acting like that, it fuels them even more. But it's not much you can do about that. I can't control anything outside of me. I can only control me.
Exactly.
So with that being said, however you react to whatever just happened, that's on you, not me. I cannot control how you react or how you do things, but I can only control myself. I can only control how I move, how I act, and how I react to situations. So that one was great. I love that one.
Yeah.
Now, really quick. Hold on, y'all, because I gotta unlock this. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and close this thing out. Okay. I just wanted to say thank you to all the people here that have tuned into this wonderful episode. I want to say thank you to you though too for being here and sharing that story once again. It's very personal, and I want to just just show my appreciation in whatever way I can. And again, thank you to all the free minders here. If you are new, make sure to please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And before we go, also, because we didn't do it at the beginning, so we're doing it now, tell the people and everything where they can find you at and stuff like that, like your social medias and things
Well,
like
you
that.
can find me on Instagram at BS4L Shakoor, and you spell Shakoor SHAKOOR. Look me up on YouTube and all the above.
Period.